college in Oakland. I was unhoused here in Oakland for the past 8 years. I just got housing in January. Me and my comrades we've all been unhoused in Oakland. Some of us are still unhoused in Oakland. And we think it was really important to try to gather the community together, housed and unhoused, to come and talk about what is going on. Why is homelessness, with the hundreds of millions of dollars that the city of Oakland has gotten in the past 6 years to end homelessness, why has homelessness quadrupled, and why has condos continue to go up, beer gardens continue to go up, high-end restaurants continue to go up, but no permanent housing for homeless folks? There's a bunch of shelters that they transition us in and out of. So we really want to just come here and open the mic for folks. We want to hear what the community has to say, because we really believe, if anything, the city of Oakland has shown us, and the nonprofits that are getting these millions have shown us, that they have no intention of ending homelessness. It's too much money in them for them to end homelessness. They make money off the homeless. As long as there's homeless people, they're going to keep on collecting their paychecks. And so we want to hear from the community. What have your experiences been if you unhoused? What have your experiences been with the city, with being evicted, with being placed in shelters? What is your experience of trying to get housing? And we also want to hear from the community about what are your solutions. If anything, it's been very clear to us that it's going to take us to come up with the solutions, and actually to do it without the help of the city. I don't know if you guys know about the Black Panther apartment project that started applications yesterday. It's going to be 100% deeply affordable housing in the lower bottoms. And the most anyone is going to pay for is $400 per month. We need tons of that. How come the city hasn't done that? How come it's taken a small group of very dedicated people to privately do that? And do you know, when they opened applications yesterday for their 79 units, they're going to have applications open all week, right? Their first day of applications yesterday, 7,200 people applied. The city should take that as a note that they need to be doing more of that. Because when these condos are opened up, they're still open. They're still empty. Right. You didn't have 7,200 people trying to apply for those condos because no one can afford those condos. Right. So let's get it straight. Let's get it right. I'm going to open up the space with a little poem I wrote. I'm a poet. And I wanted to first give acknowledgement to the Yolonis. We are on Ohlone land right now. Their land has been stolen. We are living on stolen land. We're trying to find housing on stolen land. And one of the things that the village, our organization, is known for is taking public land. And anytime before we take public land, we talk to our Ohlone elders to make sure that we got their blessing to liberate their land for the people. So I just want to take a moment to recognize we own stolen land. And that's kind of the problem with the United States. The United States was formed and only was allowed to be formed by stealing land. The very first homeless people we saw in the United States were the indigenous folks. And so homelessness is actually woven into the fabric of this country. So if we don't start talking about land issues and the indigenous people in a real way, we're never going to solve homelessness. It's part of this country's fabric. And that being said, we got indigenous people over in Palestine right now who are getting their land stolen. And people are like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I don't care what's happening in Palestine. We got problems here. It is so related. I want people to understand that the two people who were in charge of homelessness for 10 years.
Homelessness. Don't do that. That's classifying those people. They choose to live on the streets. No. I just want to say something here. I work for a nonprofit organization. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Thank you.
Yes, she know who I am.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I was homeless, and I called myself homeless when I was homeless.
Why you classifying yourself as that?
You work for HCED.
Exactly. My point. That's the reason why I'm saying this. No. That's the reason.
All right, we're going
to
excuse me.
I see what's going on.
If you would like to speak, there'll be a moment for you to speak, but right now it's my turn.
Well, okay.
When it's your turn to speak, you can get on the mic and speak, but right now it's my turn.
You're speaking to the public, so the public is going to respond, ma'am.
Okay, well, I'm talking right now.
So don't do that.
So, in Palestine right now, there are folks who are indigenous who are getting their land taken too. And people said, oh, a lot of folks, don't want to talk about that. We got enough problems here in Oakland. But people don't see that there's different ways that the dots are connected. And one way I want to share with y'all that the dots are connected, there's a woman by the name of Talia Rubin. And she, for a long time, was the director of homeless services in the city of Oakland under the human services. And at one point, she had told me, I don't like this country. And I'm looking at her like, you a government agent. What you mean you don't like this country? She's like, I'm Israeli. That was 2 years ago. And in 2016, when we used to start doing the eviction defense and support, some of my Palestinian comrades would come out to support, and they'd be like, man, we're really triggered by this. All of a sudden, Talia Rubin's telling me that she's an Israeli, she don't like this country, she prefers Israel, and she came here when she was a child, but when she was a teenager, she went back to Israel to do her duty, lived on a kibbutz for 4 years, and served in the Israeli army, the very army that's displacing Palestinians. And I'm sitting here listening to her, remembering what my Palestinian friends said, that homeless evictions remind them of what Israelis do to Palestinians. And this woman served in the Palestinian army. She conscripted what they do to Palestine to do here in Oakland. She ran that department for 10 years. And then she goes, and her boss, Joe DeVries, who is the third highest ranking administration in that building, is also an Israeli. Guess what he's in charge of? He was in charge of homelessness. They took him off of that. The police report to him. The fire department reports to him. Animal control reports to him. He's in charge of all surveillance. So when people say that, I don't want to talk about what's going on in Palestine, we got problems here, it is right on our front door. How many other government officials are Israelis in Oakland and across this country? So just things that, connect the dots. I'm going to share this poem that kind of tries to connect the dots from a different level. I'm going to open the mic for folks to come and speak. It's called Perpetrators of Poverty. I see malignant murderers wage unholy battles on the land surrounding two rivers, from the Red Sea to the Caspian Sea. Historic tales of Mesopotamia morphed into modern-day Instagram reels, from occupied Palestine to Iraq, telling of land theft, oil and gold jack, blood and tears, the whole world cracked. Under the rhetoric of hundreds of generations of debate about who should rule the spot where the Garden of Eden grows, and if you water it with blood, is wealth sure to flow. From the region where the original Babylon burned, Sumerians, Assyrians, Phoenicians, Romans, Americans, and Zionists all had their turn. I see history repeats the same old scheme. Invade a paradise, shatter a dream. Stab some backs and rob them clean. Millenniums of madness, and still a howling wilderness. But silence reaches most of us on the other side of the globe, where the story is the same. Red, black, brown, and yellow all call this place called home before Europeans came. 5 centuries later, I see generations blistered and bruised, lacking 4 walls and a roof, causing the knowledge and knowledge of nature's extremes. Empty bellies, toe-up shoes, making even the sane ones mean. I see history repeats the same old scheme. Invade a paradise, shatter a dream. Stab some backs, rob them clean. Invite the tired and poor from countries torn with war to these stolen lands, where spacious hills have no room unless we clean in their mess and harvesting the fruits of their womb. Sending us to the flatlands, 5 generations in one room. A paycheck away from single occupancy shopping cart homes, pavement pillows and sidewalk tombs. Mid-millennial madness, let the few rich bloom off murders and theft, and say those without are the problem, and those with cash clout are forgotten to be the perpetrators of poverty around the world. Around the world, when are we going to end this tired-ass scheme? Around the world, when will we refuse to participate in their invasions and fight for our deferred dreams? Around the world, when are we going to take the knives out our back? Worldwide, collectively reclaim what they hijacked. Around the world, when will we end the millenniums of madness? Around the world, when are we going to stop making people landless? All right. All right, I'm going to actually invite one of my co-conspirators for today, Derrick Sue. This brother actually ran the 77th Street Rangers in Deep East Oakland. He did a lot of good for the people, still continues to. And he's got some ideas that he wants to share with the public about what direction we really need to go. What are some solutions we could be doing? So I'm going to bring it up for Derrick.
Thank you, Nita. My name's Derrick Sue. I don't know if any of you know me, but I have a YouTube channel under my name, Derrick Sue, S-O-O. Also, I'm on Facebook, and I talk about solutions. I was also on YouTube talking about homeless solutions since 2017. 2017. And so, in 2017, our city, Oakland, became overrun with homeless. Our city council, Noel Gallo, held a community open forum for ideas to help alleviate and reduce the homeless population. The community turned out. I was one of those folks. I came to Noel Gallo face to face. I said, I have an idea. I gave him the first pitch. He looked at me, he laughed at me, and walked away. He never asked a question. The same program that I put forth to him, I put forth to Trevor Reed, District 7, my district. And during her election, she invited me to talk on homeless projects and problems. I spoke. I had the solution for her. I put it before her. The problem was, this was permanent housing. Your city of Oakland, the city council and your mayor do not want permanent housing for the homeless. How are we going to solve the homeless crisis without permanent housing? I brought to them a housing solution that would alleviate the problem here in Oakland by utilizing an underused piece of property called Oakland Middle Harbor. We could put 6 semi-retired cruise ships on that property and then lease out and rent out and sell properties for housing. Along with that, business owners can own your business site permanently and not have to worry about your rent constantly going up. You own the site. And these are solutions that come with a 50-year lease to these ships from the Port of Oakland. We're working with a lot of agencies to make sure this happens. We're looking at housing, affordable housing beginning at $65,000 for a 400 square foot cabin on board the ship, and you own that cabin. You own it. Nobody can kick you out. And then business owners, you have the opportunity to have your business stable and in an affordable position where you don't have to worry about raising prices constantly because your landlord is raising the rent every year. This is the difference. Home ownership, business ownership is what I've been proposing to the city of Oakland. Your people that you've been putting in to city council and behind the mayor's desk don't want that. This is something that Oakland needs. This is something that Oakland desperately needs to rebuild and recover from the financial losses, the housing crisis, the unaffordable housing that we have right here in Uptown. Half of these units are empty. I walked them. I tried to get into one of these almost a year ago, and they wanted 3 months of security deposit. I had to come up with $15,000 to be in move-in condition. I couldn't do that. I don't know anybody that can come up with $15,000 to move into a 600 square foot apartment. It's crazy, the rent here. Right now, I used to be homeless. I was living on Oakland streets. I created the 77th Ave Rangers, and it was a model for the city of Oakland. It was a model that I brought to Libby Shaft, and she came out. She was going to fully endorse this program that I had put together. And then at the last second, on March 18th of 2018, this was when we had the media out at my encampment in East Oakland, Libby Shaft. A lot of police officers and media was there. And because I said one thing to Libby Shaft that she didn't agree with, she canceled everything. And then those of you who heard her for the months after March 18th, she said there will never be a self-governed homeless encampment in Oakland ever. That was a reference to me, because I brought the program that would eliminate all these third-party intervention agencies, get rid of the $10 million debt that Oakland is incurring year in, year out, supporting these third-party intervention agencies. And they're taking money from your pockets and providing nothing. They're literally providing nothing. Back in 2020, I worked with KPIX, Channel 5, Susie Steimel. Me and Mike Lee worked at exposing BACS, who was one of the intermediate intervention agencies here for the city of Oakland, and we uncovered their corruption. I still have those interviews of the corruption from BACS, and that's just one agency that Oakland dealt with. They no longer deal with BACS because of that, what we exposed. So now we're trying to expose what's going on in the building behind me. Month in, month out, they're lying to you. They're saying that they have programs for the homeless. No, they don't. Pre-COVID, there were 149 encampments throughout Oakland. 149. After COVID hit, they're talking 1,500 encampments here in Oakland. They shut down 537 homeless encampments in the last 3 years. They still have another 1,500 to go. Because what they're doing, they're not housing anybody. They closed down the camps, and the folks have nowhere to go. So what they're doing, they're going to your neighborhood. They're going to your neighborhood. They're going to your neighborhood and setting up. Because Oakland doesn't want permanent housing for the homeless. They set up shelters with these third-party agencies. If you've ever been in one of these, which I have, I was in East Oakland Community Project, out in East Oakland for 91 days. It was the most horrid experience of my life. It was like being in prison. You're told when to do it, how to do it, and how high to do it. And then during the day, you can't be in the building. They kick you out. You're on your own in the streets until lunchtime. Then they let you in at lunchtime. They have a meal. Then they kick you back out on the street until dinner at 5. That's how the shelters operate. And then at bedtime, they do a bed check at 11 o'clock. Whether you're asleep or not, they come in, they turn the lights on and do a head count. They want to make sure your face is the face that's in that bed. That's what they do. It's like a prison. In that 91 days, I saw so much theft inside a place that is supposed to be safe. There was so much drug use, so much alcohol use. We even named dorms Skid Row in a homeless shelter. A dorm we called Skid Row because there were so many drug addicts and so much drugs in that room. We had another dorm called the Brewery because you just had to walk by the door and you could smell alcohol. You didn't have to open the door. These are our shelters. These are a place where you're supposed to feel safe. We do not feel safe. Nobody feels safe. And the amount of thievery is incredible. There was a young couple that came in my last week. The wife laid her wedding rings down on a chair right outside her shower. When she turned around, nearly $15,000 of 2 rings were gone. And the shelter did nothing to help her recover that. They had video everywhere in the place, and they did nothing. This is our shelters. This is our shelter system, and people are expected to get help here. No, they're not getting help here. They're getting traumatized. They're traumatized badly. Does anybody else would like to speak about what's going on here in Oakland?
Thank you. My name's Freeway. I'm with Wood Street Commons. I'm also the acting president of the Oakland Homeless Union. So I just wanted to talk about solutions because, I just want to talk about solutions because that's what we're here about today, right? We all know the problems. So a group of us have been working for 7 months now, 7 months, with Mr. Pine Talk over here. And we've been really pushing to get some support with this project that we've come up with. It's for the 22 acres, some of y'all may know about it. It's 22-acre land over on Wake Avenue. The piece of land there has already been voted on in City Council twice and approved twice to be used for public house, for permanent supportive housing. Sorry. And so now tonight at City Council, one of the things that we're going to be talking about is pushing the city administrator to implement that policy, to garner that support. It's already been voted on. Like, we need him to do his job and step up. Another big thing that's going on right now is with the homeless union, we're really trying to build and get our members up and get some support. If you're unhoused and you live in the city of Oakland, please come and talk to me because it's something that's there that gives the homeless a voice as much as it gives us a voice. Like, we need each other. And just one thing I wanted to touch on real quick too, while I've got this in my hand. So we're all out here and we all support each other and we all have to be heard. One thing I just want us to all remember is that when we're talking about each other and we're talking about the different factions of people that live out here, just try to remember not to demonize those who do use, and just remember that they have a voice too, and it can happen to anybody. This mentality of, well, we're not all drug users, we're not all this, we're not all that. We're all human beings though, right? So let's just keep that in mind.